Okay, close your eyes. No, wait, open them. You need to read this. You're checking your bank app. Your direct deposit just hit. You do the mental math, rent, groceries, maybe a little left for that weekend trip you were planning. You feel okay. Now, imagine your phone buzzes. It's not a text. It's a notification from your government. It reads, mandatory geopolitical surcharge activated, deducting 15% of net income, effective immediately. Reason, principles, have a nice day. You'd riot, you'd scream, you'd demand to see the manager of the entire country. Well, wake up. That notification was sent 2 years ago. They just didn't use an app. They used your heating bill. They used the price tag on your bread. They used the factory where your dad worked shutting down. For 30 years, we all lived in this beautiful glass-fronted European mall. Everything was cheap, everything worked, and the scary stuff was handled by a big, friendly security guard named America. It was awesome. Then a war started next door, and the mall's manager didn't just raise the parking fee. He set the entire food court on fire, handed us a bucket and said, "Put it out." Also, the security guard is now charging by the hour, and his rates just tripled. This is the story of that fire. Not the war itself, but the economic arson it committed across a continent. This is what happens when your comfortable life gets a surprise audit from the Ministry of Reality. Buckle up! Your wallet is about to get nauseous. 1. The €1 trillion divorce lawyer. Let's start with the number. The stupid, breathtaking, laugh-or-you'll-cry number. 1 trillion. Euros. Say it out loud. It feels fake. It's the cost of Europe's conscious uncoupling from Russian energy. But this wasn't a calm mediation. This was a screaming fight in the driveway where Russia took the gas grill and Europe, in a panic, had to go buy a new one from a sketchy guy on the internet for 10 times the price. You didn't write a check for €1 trillion. You paid in 1,000,000 little cuts. You paid when you stood in your kitchen in December, watching your breath fog and thought, maybe just one more sweater instead of turning the heat on. You paid when the bakery on your corner, the one with the good sourdough, suddenly slapped a sign on the door, closed, energy prices. You paid when your friend in Germany, an engineer at a chemical plant, called and said his entire division was being optimized because making plastic in Europe had become a financial suicide note. They call this imported inflation. That's a sterile bankery term for what it really is, a mugging. A guy named Vladimir held a knife to the pipeline and said, "Your money or your lifestyle?" And Europe, scrambling, emptied its pockets. And yours. Governments played the hero. They froze prices. They gave out subsidies. It was a fiscal superhero movie. But here's the plot twist. The money for those superhero capes? It came from a loan. A giant generational loan with your name co-signed on it. They didn't stop the mugging. They just kindly offered to let you pay off the stolen cash over 30 years, with interest. So now we've got these stupid, ugly floating LNG terminals clogging our pretty coastlines like metallic constipation. We swapped a problematic marriage for a desperate, expensive addiction to tankers from the other side of the planet. We used to have a gas bill, now we have a geopolitical energy subscription with surge pricing, and the first trillion is just the down payment. 2. The deindustrialization ghost. Remember that Made in Germany sticker? The one that meant quality, precision, badass engineering? That sticker had a secret ingredient. It wasn't just grit, it was cheap Russian gas. For decades, German factories ran on fuel priced at a friends and neighbours discount. It was their invisible superpower. Then, poof, the superpower got cancelled. Now firing up a furnace in Bavaria costs more than running an entire factory in Texas. Let me translate this from economic jargon to human. The math has left the building. If you're a CEO and your main cost quadruples, you don't pivot. You flee. You get on a plane, you go to South Carolina or Vietnam, and you build your new factory there. You don't even look back. This isn't a cycle. It's a controlled demolition. They call it fringe whoring. I call it the great European going out of business sale, and everyone's getting a deal but us. So what did Europe do? Did it have a moment of quiet, strategic genius? No. It had a panic attack and set its own rulebook on fire. Enter Fortress Europe 2.0, aka the Subsidy Methadone Clinic. The EU, the same people who used to fine countries for helping their own companies too much, is now shoveling cash into the furnace. Hundreds of billions for chip plants, billions for battery factories. It's a desperate, wallet-emptying scream. Please don't leave. We're not building a competitive economy anymore. We're building a life support system for the one we're losing. The new buzzword is strategic autonomy. It sounds strong. It means we are terrified of being dependent, so we will become dependent on our own panic spending instead. 3. The guns versus butter versus your future trilemma. Now, here's where the financial comedy gets truly dark. Europe is staring at 3 bills. All of them are marked urgent, pay or die. Bill 1. The guns. Putin's war made every general in Europe pee their pants a little. The peace dividend is over. The dividend has been recalled, and the bank wants compound interest. Germany found 100 billion euros down the back of the couch for its army. Poland is spending like a drunk sailor on leave, aiming for 4% of GDP on defense. This isn't an investment. It's a multi-decade mortgage on fear. And you're on the hook. Bill 2. The butter. That's you. The citizen. The one who votes. You're getting crushed between energy bills and grocery bills. The social contract, the promise that you work hard and the state won't let you freeze or starve, is cracking like old plaster. So governments have to pour money here too. Pensions, benefits, price caps. The bill for social peace is exploding. Bill 3. The Green Dream. Oh yeah, remember this? The beautiful starry-eyed project to save the planet? The European Green Deal? The multi-trillion euro overhaul of everything? Yeah, that's still a thing. It's now competing for cash with the new tanks and the social welfare checks. It's like trying to plan a Mars mission while your house is actively on fire. Here's the brutal math. The money cannot do all 3. So what gives? Everything. Debt ceilings become polite suggestions. Promises become lies. The beautiful, tearful unity of we stand with Ukraine curdles into the grubby backroom fights in Brussels over who pays for the solidarity. It's not about principle anymore. It's about the budget line. 4. The central bank's Kobayashi Maru. While the politicians fight, the nerds in Frankfurt at the European Central Bank are in their own personal hell. Their job is simple. Keep inflation at 2%. Cute. The inflation they're fighting didn't come from European workers getting greedy. It's a foreign attack. It arrived on a tanker ship. You can't fight a supply shock inflation with interest rates. That's like trying to stop a flood by telling the water it's too expensive to rise. But they have to look like they're doing something. So they raise rates. They make money more expensive for everyone. For Italy, which is drowning in debt. For the Spanish family trying to buy an apartment. For the small business owner in Berlin. It's chemotherapy for a broken leg. You weaken the whole patient to attack one symptom. And by doing this, they wake up the fragmentation monster. This is the nightmare creature that almost ate the euro in 2012. When the ECB raises rates, investors look at Italy and go, risky, and demand higher returns to lend to them than to Germany. That gap, the spread, is a financial fault line. If it cracks open, it means the markets think the Eurozone itself could break in half. So the ECB is in a farce. With one hand, it's raising rates to fight inflation. With the other, it's secretly designing billion-euro programs to glue Italy's debt together to pretend everything is fine. Every month is a high-wire act over the pit of a financial meltdown, and you're just hoping the guy on the wire doesn't sneeze. 5. The new Iron Curtain. It's in your bank account. Finally, the war isn't just redrawing maps outside Europe. It's drawing a bloody great line right down the middle of the EU. A new economic Iron Curtain. On the eastern side, Poland, the Baltics. Romania, the war isn't news. It's the air they breathe. Their economies are on a terrifying rollercoaster. A defence industry boom on top of killer inflation, and the immense, uncosted burden of millions of refugees. Their message to the West is simple, loud and soaked in stress. Pay for our security or we all fall. Their patience is gone. On the western side in Berlin, Paris, Amsterdam, the pain is a slow, cold leak. It's the quiet dread of losing. It's the factory moving to Tennessee. It's the gnawing fear of permanent decline. Here, the question in the cafes and boardrooms is shifting. Is this worth bankrupting us? The beautiful EU fairy tale that we would all get richer together, that the poor East would catch up to the rich West, is over. That project is bankrupt. Now we have a two-tier continent, a front line in a state of permanent funded emergency, and a core sliding into anxious, entitled decline. The glue was shared prosperity. Now it's just shared panic, and that's not a strong adhesive. So let's add it up. The real cost, the one that won't show up on a graph until your kids are your age. Every single euro we're hurling into this crisis, for LNG, for tanks, for subsidies, is a euro that is not building the future. It is not funding the cancer research lab in Copenhagen. It is not building the high-speed rail line from Lisbon to Kiev. It is not financing the AI startup in Tallinn that could revolutionize education. It is not fixing the crumbling school in Naples. We're cannibalizing our tomorrow to pay for a fortified yesterday. China is spending its billions to own the industries of 2040. America is spending its trillions to reshore the industries of 1990. And Europe? Europe is spending its treasure in a desperate, sweating scramble to rebuild the industries of 1985 and the security of 1955. We made a noble choice, a principled stand, but they forgot to tell us the fine print. Principles have a compound interest rate, and the payment is deducted directly from your future. The chill in the air isn't from a broken furnace. It's from the cold, hard draft of a future that's being cancelled, €1 trillion instalment at a time. And the worst part, the thermostat is now way, way out of your reach. I will see you in the next one.